had the feed to the headphones on.
All right, now
So,
we're live.
we're live now?
Yep. Hi, Joe
All
Beth.
right.
Joe Beth is there.
All right. Oh, see? So we weren't, yeah. So I don't know, mate. What did we cock something up? There's something not right, Beckett. It's like we had a storm come through here. I don't know what's going on. The energy's a bit weird. Is it trying to stop us, Beckett? The energy's too much? Is that what it is? There's something out there.
Sure. Yeah, there we are. Okay, good. Yep, we're there. Hello, guys.
There's something out there, mate, trying to stop us.
All right. Sorry, guys. It was a little bit of, my brain's been all over the place. We're going to talk about burnout. I thought we were doing it one.
And I'm saying 12. And I'm messaging because we both ain't had much sleep talking of burnout, right? You poor bastard, you ain't slept all night. And I'm like, and I must have been picking up on your ass because I remember messaging you like probably later, like saying I'm like buzzing already. And you were like, oh, let's save that for tomorrow, remember? Because I was already like, oh shit, I gotta like I need a podcast. I need Becky.
Yeah, it's been a crazy week talking about burnout, and that's what we're talking about. When you said I'm buzzing, I've been working a lot with my energy and upgrading it, and when you do that, I know you're going to be like, "What the hell are you talking about?"
Yeah, because this is the bit it fascinates me, mate, about you. There's this whole area of you that I got no idea about yet. And and you come up every now and again and you give me a message, and I'm like, what does this guy freaking actually know? What is going on with this fella? And then I'll start talking to you, and I'm like, oh, I like this. So you mentioned, you were talking about this, what we're talking about, right? But on the energy side of it. And I'm like, I'm intrigued. So
Well, yeah, because when this is a whole, we could dive into this, but when you open up to your gifts, when you open up, and when I'm talking about gifts, I'm talking about clairs. So everybody has intuitive gifts. Everybody can be intuitive. Everybody can, all the things. You could hear things, you could see things, and some people are like, no, I can't. I'm like, yeah, you can. You're just blocking it. But when you start to open up to that and you learn that, and that's what I've been opening up to this week and learning new gifts and really leaning into them, your vibration energetically rises, right? And we know that right now the energy on the planet is rising, which also will tie into burnout. Because I'm aware of this stuff, but some of you guys might not be, and people are feeling really tired lately. They're feeling really fatigued. They're like, I don't like doing this. And it's because we're getting all these solar flares. If you look at what's called the Schumann resonance, you can look it up. It gives you the energy vibration of the Earth.
Oh, wow. No shit.
Yeah. So you'll see spikes, and we're made of energy.
Chart? What is it?
Yeah. I'll send you the link, and I'll actually link it in the description here for you guys if you guys are interested in looking at it. Because when you see it spike, that's why they tell you. I don't know if you've ever heard this. Go outside barefoot.
Oh, I do it all the time, yeah.
Right, and sit on the ground because you're actually syncing. Your energy is syncing with the energy of the earth.
Absolutely, yeah.
Right, and so my point to you is, as the energy in the earth rises, as you rise, your body, your vessel has to adjust. And so I've been doing that this week. So that's why when you were messaging me and you're like, what? Like the last time we did it, you're like, dude, what is with you? I'm like buzzing.
Dude, I don't know. I didn't know what hit me. I was like, holy shit. I had to like freaking sit down. I was like freaking like energized, but whacked at the same time.
Yeah.
And I can understand what you're saying about the tired a lot. And I think especially when you tune into that a lot more, like we do, and a lot of other people out there, I've been feeling a bit zapped.
Yeah, because as you know, there's this old saying, like, as you raise your vibration, people up around you either raise their vibration with you or bounce right off your island, right? They don't vibe with you. And it is an energy. Frequency begots frequency. So as I'm raising mine, I'm activating people who are talking to me or being around me in a new way. And a lot of people may not understand that, right? Like, there was just a scientist I was watching the other day, a neuro and another scientist, where they said they can literally measure your heart frequency 5 to 6 feet away.
Holy shit.
Right. Right. So think about that when you go into a room or you meet somebody, the first thing you're going to hit
Yeah,
are people's heart energy. That's why it's the most potent auric field that you have. You
yeah.
know what I
That's what I
mean?
tell clients. It's like think from here.
Right.
You know,
Right.
don't think from here. Think from here.
Right.
Yeah, yeah.
So
That
when you're
energy.
doing that, you're putting that out and people are feeling that. So that can it can be tiring. And so for me, I've been very all over the place this week. I've just been
Yeah,
really tired because I've been vibrating at such a high level and I can feel it. Like when you and I talk, I can feel it. When I work with a client, I can feel it. And I'm like, what is this? My head's buzzing, my lips are numb,
yeah.
and my
Vibrating in
mental
your hands. Do your hands like tingle? I've had this freaking like tingling up my arms. Feels like my freaking heart skips a beat now and again. It's
yeah.
like really, it's really weird.
It is weird because at one point I was like, maybe I'm having a medical problem.
I did the same thing, dude. I'm shouting at my missus. I'm like, I think I'm having an heart attack. I'm in the toilet taking a whiz when my heart starts freaking fluttering, right? And I'm like, oh no, I'm on my way out. I'm 55 and I'm going to hit the freaking toilet floor like this. So I'm caught. I'm like, Mummy, no, you're all right. And then I had to like,
Yes.
okay,
Yeah, you had to breathe. Yeah, you had to breathe through it. And, I connected to my own guides and they were like, yeah, no, you're just trying to adjust. You're trying to adjust to the frequency that you're vibrating at. So it's been a weird week and hence I'm pet sitting, as you can see, because the background's different and I never sleep well in a new place. So I didn't sleep last night.
yeah.
So I'm just exhausted. So I apologize to you guys for starting late. Steven literally texted me and was like, hey man, getting a drink, jumping on in 5 minutes. I'm like, what? We're doing it at 1.
Dude, but then like way I thought, I'm like, oh no, I've got it all wrong. Oh no,
It was
I've
me.
like sent messages out, and I'm like, oh no, I've really effed all this shit up. And you're like, oh, I think it might be me, and I'm thinking, no, because now I'm trying to think of last week. When did we end? Oh God, yeah,
No, it was me. I've been like that all week. So when we brought up this topic because in Steve's group, people were talking about burnout and feeling burned out and not
yeah,
liking their jobs or not being able to function as well. And that's a common thing right now with the energy around us, and people won't even know why. You know what I mean? If you don't
yeah,
know why the solar flares are hitting or why the energy of the vibration of the earth is raising, your body's going to feel that whether you realize it or not. So a lot of things planetary wise that you may not align with anymore are going to start to fall away. You know what I mean? Like a job that you really hate, you're going to notice, I really hate this.
yeah.
Relationships. I know a lot of people going through divorce right now.
Me
Who are,
too,
yeah,
dude. Me too. I was crazy shit. I think I told you, right? I was like doing the podcast last night,
yeah,
right? And I had different people flashing in my head, right?
yeah,
While I was doing it, and while I was doing it, I get a text message, and it's a client with that very thing, like all of a sudden, just
yeah.
boom,
So,
right? And like, oh, Steve, and I'm like, it was like I was talking to her through the fucking podcast. It was
right.
weird as shit, and I'm
Yeah,
still,
you say that, but that's how we're supposed to live.
yeah. But you know what though, matey? Remember, how long have you been doing this journey? How long
Oh,
have you?
yeah, it's been a while. Yeah.
I'm a puppy, mate. I'm like, I'm like looking up at you, going, I want some of that. Right? So, so when I get into this, normally, like before I knew you, I
Yeah.
would get hold of someone that knew what was going on in the universe, right? Because
Right.
I'd feel this shit, and not as strong as it is now, dude. This is nuts, right?
Right.
But I would feel these certain things, or I'd have a pattern of a depression or something, right?
Yeah.
And I would be straight on because I don't understand that side of things, and I'm glad I don't, because it'd just be another ladder that add to the burnout, right? Give me something else I got to freaking get into. Why not?
Right.
Right? I'm into enough shit now that I've burnt out on this. But it's I get a hold of people that are in, and I'm like, hey, is there anything going on? You know,
Yeah.
and they'll come back to me like, oh, this is going on, and there's a freaking plan. I'm like, all right, thanks. But now, dude, I'm like onto you, going, what the fuck is going on?
Well, I mean, and that's people are gonna feel that, and it is. It's not, and people and all my clients say that. Everybody's just like, this is weird, and it's weird because we're not used to it. It's weird because we're not used to being so in touch. And I think part of burnout, and this is something that people don't really think about, is we don't know how to be bored.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Like you go on lunch, people go on lunch, they're on their phone, they're on the you
Yeah,
don't there you actually have to now schedule boredom.
yeah, because
So
it's
you're
so constant, man. I mean, you've
Yeah,
only
I
got
watched this guy actually. I wanted to bring that up. What was it? He sent me something the other day, and he was saying how many bits. Oh, it was this. It was we're getting 10 million bits of information coming at us a day. He was a nerd.
holy 10 million.
10 million, and he said we can only handle 50 to 100. Right.
Holy shit, dude.
So when people are saying I'm burnt out, I don't understand. Like, why am I, depressed? Why am I so anxious? Because your brain isn't having time to decompress, to relax,
Yeah,
to process the information you have. It's 10 million bits of information is coming at you, and we're just constantly being hooked.
yeah, and pushed, and you
Right.
know, it's the same with the younger. I look at I've got two daughters, right? I've
Yeah.
got a 21-year-old and I've got an coming up 18-year-old, right? And my 18-year-old, well, 17. My 17-year-old, if I say 18 now, she'll freaking slaughter me, right? So, my 17-year-old, sorry, Gabs, my 17-year-old, right? She finished high school yesterday, right?
Mhm.
But I got talking to my oldest once in the garage while she was still in high school, and I said the amount of pressure
Yeah.
that is put on kids from early, right?
Mhm.
At 14 years old, mate, I think I was still running around in a freaking nappy, right? What did I know at 14? Right, I didn't know shit, right? But they're expecting these 14, 13, 14-year-olds, they're starting to put pressure of university and shit,
Yeah.
right? It's starting, and I've seen my girls just come in, just breaking down, dude.
Yeah.
Can't handle it. Like, what's got to happen? And then, as a parent, you're kind of trying to guide without wanting to injure anything,
Yeah.
but you can't odds it because the whole, right? This is the way it is. So, and in England, shit, dude, I literally 14 years old. I'm like freaking, I was getting my ass kicked in school and worrying about that.
Well, we
Right?
didn't have that. We had a break. You went home and you had a break from your friends. You had a break if you were being bullied. Do you know what I mean? There was no access to you, and now it's just 24-hour constant access that we all
Yeah.
have to each other, and that's something. And I know I shared it in the group. Is like you really have to be mindful of scheduling your self care, first
Mhm.
and foremost. Like allow time to be bored. Literally just go outside, like you said, and I do this with bare feet and just
Yeah.
energetically, if you stand outside with bare feet on the ground, you will realign all your chakras. Your nervous system will start to come down.
Yep.
You will feel much better, and you only need 10 minutes.
Yep.
More longer is also beneficial, but you don't have to stay longer, and you're gonna feel better. Leave the phone in the house. Just don't listen to anything. You just allowing your brain to relax can do wonders for anxiety, depression, all the
Absolutely.
burnout feelings because you're constantly processing. So of course you're going to feel burnout.
Yeah. I mean, there's you talking about the grounding. I think I remember I watched it a couple of times on YouTube. I suggest everybody go and check it out. And I think it's called Grounding. I might
Yeah,
have
it
that
is.
up,
It's a
is
movie. I
it?
think it's on Prime too.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like a
I'll put a
document.
link in the description.
Awesome. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's like a documentary all on that.
yeah,
And I remember, because I started to hear about it,
yeah,
and then, as you know me, it's like, what's that? Give me all I can get, right? So when
yeah.
I came across that documentary and I watched it after I'd heard a bit about it, and I thought, oh, this is like, it's the science is there,
Yes,
right?
it is.
They've taken images of the blood,
Yeah,
and how it flows. You can't, that's truth. You can't deny that.
right.
So and they stuck rods, didn't they, in the
Yep,
ground? Remember that? And he
yep,
brought it through the window, and he had two plants, and he put the grounding rod in one plant, and just
yep,
let the other plant, and he gave them the same feed, same water, and all that, but the one that was grounded freaking like was
Shut up.
just way healthier.
Yeah.
Right. So yeah, grounding is,
Well, it's essential. I mean, I have my clients do it. I'm actually I met a client. We couldn't meet this week because we had thunderstorms, but I'm actually meeting my clients now out in nature.
Yeah, man.
To do that, to have them ground before we do their session, to get them right and in sync and in place, and allow them to, because the more relaxed you are, the more open you are to your gifts, the more open you are to activations and understanding, and you won't feel so drained. Because even when you're activating somebody or you're getting activated, and this is something I learned when I was getting certified, when you are connecting into source or whatever you believe, and you actually get energized, you don't get drained because you're not using your own energy, and everything around us is energy.
Yeah, sweet. Yeah, I didn't even think about that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, and so they would know, like, if you're using your, if you, so when I'm channeling or I'm talking to people's guides and your guides, it's like, that's not my energy. That's source. You know what I mean? And that's coming through me. I'm just the channel to say, this is what you need, or, this is what they're saying, or whatever. Insight. And so I don't feel drained when I'm done, but I know that I have to take care of myself to be able to be a good channel.
It's crazy because, I told you, like, what the kind of a little bit of an outline of how I basically built this up, what was going on, and how I kept getting tested and passed that test, move on, and what you were just talking about is picking up, I started to feel that, and it's like crazy as shit, dude. Again,
it feels weird. It does. And as you level up, it'll feel even weirder, but people don't trust, they don't trust their intuition. I deal with that a lot. Like, I have an old exercise book that I give to my clients on how to work with it and trust it, because the more, it's like any other muscle, the more you use it, the more innate it becomes, the more it will come up, the more intuitive you become. You just know, you just trust, and and you do it, and you find that it always takes you exactly where you need to be.
Yeah, I've done it with clients. You found that with clients, dude? I've been with a client, and I'll have something come out of my. I'm not. Listen, right?
I know.
You know me, but people know. A lot of people know me as this.
Right.
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 Not even you knew me back then. Right. Mosh pit, fucking Cockney Buddha. Right.
Right.
But that, I find that sometimes I'll be sitting in front of a client, right? Yeah. And the shit's coming out of my mouth. I'm saying the words, and I'll sit there and I'll get done with a session, and I'll think, I don't think I actually said that. Like, I actually felt or heard something to say this. The weirdest. Yeah.
Well, it's a gift. When you have gifts, so there's clairaudient, there's clairsentient, there's all clairs. There's all the clairs. There's like 5 or 6 of them. You smell things, you hear things, even taste things, see things, know things, feel things. I'm a knower and a feeler. I'm starting to get clairaudient, and when I was certified, they had a test.
What does that mean?
You'll start hearing things.
I get like a voice.
Yeah, that's clairaudient. So we all have 3 clairs. Your number one initially for me was just I know what I know, and I know it. And people might say, well, how do you know that? And I'm like, I just know. Yeah. For instance, I had an example come up a couple weeks ago. My roommate thought she was going to lose her house, and then she was sitting there in a panic when we were in the kitchen. I said, you're not going to lose the house. And she just looked at me and was like, right, okay. Anyways, we need a plan. And I go, you're not going to lose the house. And she's like, how do you know that? I said, I don't know. I just know you're not going to lose it. And she didn't.
Yeah.
Everything worked out, and she came to me the next day and opened my door, and she goes, how the hell did you know that? And I go, I just know what I know.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I just know what I know. And and it's always ended up being correct. And to your point, sometimes I might not know what I'm saying. Like, it may mean nothing to me, but when I'm speaking it to my client and then I see their eyes just bug out and go, how the hell did you know that?
Right. I've got to tell you. Can I tell you this story?
Yeah, please do.
I've got this story because I know it's about burnout, and this isn't to do with burnout, but hey,
we promise we'll get there, guys.
Beckett show, shit, anything goes, right? But to your point, when this thing, whatever it is, right? Because you know more about it. Like, I'm still like, what is it, right? So when this started with me, when I started tuning in to what was going on, right? And not so much pushing, because I thought, yeah, you're full of shit, Cockney. You're
Right.
freaking, right? Like,
Yeah.
you're imagining this shit, right? And I had this client, a football player, right? Big fella, no bullshit with the guy, right? Straight up, right? And I was coming into a session this evening with him, and I'm sitting in the chair watching a bit of TV before I'm gonna, get on my session, and I get this picture of a fella, and it was my client with his arm around him, right? And I could see it clear as day, clothing, everything.
Right.
And then this thing was playing out, and I'm like, what the heck is that? Why is that? That's, I don't know if I can approach my guy with that, right? He's straight, right? Straight down. He's no bullshit with the guy, right?
Right.
So all of a sudden I get this like, done. Like heavy, quick, done.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, right? Because this is when I was starting to like question it a little bit and trust in it a little bit more. Instead of trying to push it away, I was like more of like, I've got to check this out now because I've had incidences with this and this is getting heavier now. Right. So the guy comes on and we started talking a bit. And I said, hey man, I need to talk to you. Right. Because you don't expect this guy to have this kind of shit going on. Right. And I still question it, like I say. But anyway, so I'm like, hey man, I need to talk to you about something. So he goes, what's up? And I'm like, you're going to think I'm nuts. Right. And he's like, come on, what's, and I'm like, I'm going to tell you a story. So he's like, all right. And I start talking about the picture, first of all. Right. And I get about halfway through and he starts crying. And I'm like, okay, keep going. Right. So I keep explaining it. And he's like, he's stopped. I can see it's starting to play a whatever, right? An energy to it. So, and then I said, but I don't understand something, man. And he's like, what's that? I said, there's a quick done, right? He goes, you just explained one of my best mates, the clothing and everything is spot on. And he got shot twice.
Yeah. I was going to say, I figured that something happened.
And then he started telling me the story then. And I'm like, what's, because I hadn't heard this.
Right.
I hadn't heard this story. Yeah. So, and then, we started talking about the story and it was like, holy shit. And then, I've had people go like, to your point again, how do you know that?
Right.
I explained some grandmother turned up and I'm saying to the guy, there's some lady that's just turned up. And he's like, what? Again, Marine. Yeah. Right. And I'm like, I'm seeing this. And he's like, oh yeah. So I'm like, hang on a minute. And I close my eyes. I don't know what you do, but I'll close my eyes and just it's like a dream.
Yeah,
right?
It is. It's a theta wave state. Yeah.
Is that what it is? Because I'm like, I don't know. I just drop into something. Right. Yeah. And then, so I start explaining the lady, right? And he's still kind of, and then I start explaining her purse. I can see it. And he's like, holy shit, dude. That was it. So then it was like, there's something here. I'm not so mental as I thought I was, right? Because I've been pushing shit away, matey. You know what I mean? You're like, when it started
everybody does that because we question things and think it's not logical. It doesn't make sense. I'm making this up. But the reality is, and this kind of comes back to why we were talking about that. You have to allow yourself time to sit and work with your energy and your gifts and allow those things to come through. And it is going to feel weird. And you are going to want to, your ego is going to want to fight it and go, this is just your brain and da-da-da. But it's not. And there's a good way of, I had a client say to me, how do I know it's not anxiety or it's my intuition?
Good question.
You know what I mean? And I said, you'll know by that coming through isn't going to make you anxious.
Bang on. 'Cause I
Right.
just
Yeah,
thought that when
right.
you
You're
said
not
it.
going to feel anxiety. You're going to feel something completely different, and it does. And it's it's a whole different state of being, and those are theta waves. So if you guys ever want to try something, I would say go to Spotify. There's a bunch of theta wave soundtracks, or I can link some, put some headphones on, and just sit with it for 10 minutes and just allow your brain to go there. Your brain
Yeah,
will connect, and you'll see what it feels like.
it's
Right? It's
crazy.
almost like a deep trance meditation
It's weird,
almost.
matey.
Yeah.
I've done some really deep meditation shit
Mm,
where I've had to open my eyes because I felt all of a sudden I wasn't there for a
right.
period of time. Like I didn't even feel myself, like, just weightless, like
Yeah.
I wasn't there, and I was standing, right, and I've had to be like, whoa, shit, oh, okay, and then go back. You know what I mean? Because again, I trust it more now.
Right.
Right? If I get in, if I want to get into that deep shit and start getting into that side of meditation, oh, it's freaking bliss, isn't it? It's
It is.
like,
It is bliss. You feel very calm, you feel very relaxed, you feel very energized. It is blissful. And I think that's the key, in taking time away from things that are draining you. And that's the first thing I would do if you're feeling really burnout is getting mindful of what is draining your energy, who is draining your energy.
yeah, for
You know
sure,
what I
man.
mean? That makes a big difference. You're thinking about it. Are the people around you? Who are the top 5 people? If you
Yeah,
write down the top 5 people you see on a daily basis,
yeah,
what is their energetic blueprint? People don't think about that. What energy are they bringing around me all the time? What are we talking about? What am I bringing on them? Because they're affecting you.
yeah. Oh, for sure, dude. I mean, there's certain people that have drifted from me,
Yes.
right? Like good mates,
Yeah.
right? And again, it was that allowing, because otherwise you can attach and move with that, and it's if I would have gone that way, my energy would have been completely different.
Right.
It might have been draining. I know where I was before.
Right.
Energy was completely different, right? So, like you said, it's getting into that mind state. And because it really, really, I tell all my guys that I guide, you probably do too, right?
Yeah.
When I tell all my guys that I guide, I'm like, listen, 15, 20 minutes at least foundation meditation in the morning if you can, you
Mm-hmm.
know, and then set up your alarm for say every hour
Yeah.
and have your alarm go off and tune in. I call it tune-ins, right?
Yeah.
So and then just like, and it's nothing like crazy. You can do it in the supermarket. You can do it driving your car. And it's basically like, okay, what's my breathing doing right now? That's the
Right.
first point. Slow my breath down because a lot of the times, driving, don't realize,
No, shallow breath.
right?
I was constantly shallow breathing, shallow breathing, shallow breathing.
Yeah,
You don't realize it.
anxiety,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then, what's my emotion doing? Where am I emotionally? And then why?
Right.
Like, okay, slow your breath down, check in the emotion. Why am I feeling it? Even joy. Why am I feeling joy?
Oh, exactly. Yeah,
Eh,
that's what people don't realize, right? They only turn to these tools if I'm struggling or I have anxiety or stuff. And I always say, okay, that's great. Like I was asking people, and I don't know, I put it on my stories the other day, and I was asking close friends, and I was like, what are you excited about today? Right? What are you excited about today? And people are like, I don't know. I'm like, okay, well, if you don't know, then you can't draw to you that frequency or manifest things that you want if you don't know what's exciting to you. And that's okay if you don't. That's a great place to be. It's like, okay, well, let me play with this. Let me
Yeah,
ask myself, because it is important to check in when you're feeling joy, happiness, and taking, a mindful assessment, so to speak, is what I call those.
yeah. Oh, okay.
Mindful moments of assessment and go, why? What
Yeah.
is, because you want more of that,
Oh
right?
shit, yeah, man.
Right.
If you do it, you got to put the effort in.
For sure.
It don't just fall in your lap. It's
No.
work, right?
Right.
But
It's
you
like
can
working
achieve
out.
it.
It's a muscle. You got to work it. You got to do it, and you got to be conscious of it. And you got to understand that when we talk about what you're consuming, it also means the energy around you.
Oh yeah, man. Look at the freaking news alone, right?
I don't watch the news.
I don't.
I don't watch it.
I talked to my therapist about that because I was completely like, nope, right, for a while.
Yeah.
And then, she said, you might just want to tune in to see what is going on. But all the garbage that's going on right now wasn't going on then, right? So, yeah, you've only got to flick the politics alone will just drive you mental.
Well, that'll drive you mental. And the other thing is, and this goes back to the 10 million bytes being thrown at us. I don't want to put my head in the sand. I know anything that's going on in the world that I need to know comes up, right? Whether it's a friend, the universe always brings it to me. So I'm not blind to it, but it's like, you have to remember when we didn't have the internet, we didn't know what was going on over in the other part of the world right away. You know what I mean? And so you only have so much capacity to care, so to speak. And I don't mean that in an ugly way. I mean, energetically, you only have so much capacity. And if you're going to worry about everything in the world, you're definitely going to feel burned out because A, there's nothing you can do about it, right? B, it's draining your energy when you're going, okay, well, now how do I feel? And it's affecting your life now on things that you can shift or change.
Exactly.
So it's using that discernment and going, what do I care about? What excites me? And what can I do with the energy I have? And if that means for me, no news, then it's no news. Sure. And I find out what happens when I need to.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, you're gonna find out. I get it. I think it might be another reason why my energy's been a bit screwed.
It does. I had a client one time say, I'm so depressed. And I said, how often do you watch the news? And they said, all the time, morning and night. And even I said, turn the news off. Yeah, and I'm not blaming that as the only thing, but I'm like, start small. Find the small, what I call energy leaks.
Yeah, for sure.
Right? Energy leaks are... Right. Scrolling is one. Why are you doing it? Maybe if there's bills you haven't paid, and I understand people are struggling or whatever, but it's like, that's an energy leak. Is your room not clean and it's annoying you and you're like, I really need to clean that? That's an energy leak because you're constantly thinking about, I need to do this. I should be doing this. You know what I mean? So you're leaking that energy that you don't have to leak.
I'll tell you what, you talking about bedroom, there's another thing I always tell my guys to do, make your bed.
Yeah, there's a whole Buddhist thing on that.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's about ending the sleep, because if you walk into the room and your bed covers are still kind of messed up, looking like you may have just got up or that you're ready to go back to bed, this interprets that not as you wanting to just go into the bathroom. It looks over there and interprets, I want to go to bed. Right. But if you get up in the morning and you end that, make the bed, like properly make the bed, like be present with, don't just freaking like it looks like the dog's gone freaking mad on your bed, right? And you call it made, right? It properly make be present with it and straighten your freaking
throw the blankets over, go, it's made.
What's the point in that? What kind of message you sending? I can't give a shit. Right.
That speaks a lot. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if you can take one day, an hour, and just go, where are my quick fix energy leaks? Right? Like, to your point, I need to clean this area up. I need to do whatever the simple tasks are. They don't have to be huge, and take care of them. And then it's gone. That energy leak ain't there anymore.
Right.
You know what I mean? You have more energy. All these little things compiled up are why people feel so anxious and burn out, and you know what I mean? Like, I can't deal. And then you add, like you said, the news and all the other things on top of it. Well, of course. I mean, we can't handle that much.
Yeah. Oh no, man. It really is a bombardment. I mean, you know, even when you put your like I use Pandora now, man. You know, the old digital radio. You know,
I use Spotify, but
yeah, all right, same kind of thing, right? Okay. Yeah. Draw swords there, Beckett. I'm fighting.
I mean, it's the same thing. I don't know.
I'm fighting for Pandora.
I didn't even know Pandora was still around.
Oh, Beckett! Ouch, man! I know you play bleeding football, mate, but you put me with a slide tackle there, brother. Took my ankles out.
I did. I played soccer for 13
years. I know you did, mate. I heard it on Kate.
Yeah, I did.
For a good few years, too.
Yeah, I did.
You was well grounded, weren't you, mate? Especially when you slid in and took my ankles out there. You were really low. Well grounded, sliding in on your ass. Yeah, I know. Can't remember what I was saying there. Damn it, Beckett. Beckett!
Use Pandora, and honestly, no notch. I don't care. I go whatever's easiest.
No, like if you just switch the radio on and you get the adverts, again, you know, you could be listening to something that you like listening, and all of a sudden, pharmaceutical adverts alone.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You got to be on this. right?
Well, it's all subliminal programming. I took a whole course in college about that.
Oh,
And
you
how
did?
they showed us, like, yeah, in magazines, how they would show us how a liquor ad, they spelled the word sex in the ice cubes in the cup, and you wouldn't even know it.
No shit, dude.
Yeah. Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. Yeah, they showed us a whole history of how subliminal ads, even on TV, where it's flashed so quick that your brain picks it up, but you visually don't pick it up.
Wow. Was it a
Yeah.
certain frequency or something?
Well,
That-
yeah, it's just a whole, I mean, they know that. They know it's like one thing I was taught one time when I worked in a country club, which you probably know this being a chef, but they would tell us when we went to the table after they were done eating, if we went and said, "Would you like dessert?" and shook our head yes while we were saying that, 90% of the time they would order dessert simply because we were shaking our head yes. So of course I tested it, right? I had like a few tables. I'm like, let me try it with these tables and let me see and see what the accuracy. And they
yeah.
were spot on. The ones that I shook my head always ordered dessert.
Wow. I'm
And they had no
shaking my
idea.
head at yours. I have to see myself over there on the other side of it, and I'm thinking, I'm damn well doing it. Shit.
Well, I mean, so think about it. When if you ever see a wait staff going, "Would you like dessert?" Just me doing this, right? Because I'm inadvertently telling them yes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
so they're seeing me and going, yeah, even though they may not.
I know. And it stimulates,
Yes.
again, that adds to it just adds to more of that burnout shit, man.
It does. And that's where you don't, that's why my brain injury made me fascinated with learning the brain and how it works. And not only the what we talk about, the energetics, the channeling, all that stuff, but also just biologically, you know what I mean? And
Yeah.
how people, and they know this, corporations know this, they know, and social media knows this. It's an addiction. It's a psychological warfare in a way in the fact, and I say warfare, that sounds a bit too much, but
Yeah,
they
but
know
it
what they're
is
doing.
though.
It is.
It literally is, man. I mean, if you really look at it, you've got companies that know all this shit, and they're
Oh,
using it to
yeah.
their advantage to basically blitz your mind,
Right.
right?
Right.
That you
Yeah.
don't know about.
Right. You
I
don't
call,
even realize
call
that.
it
Right.
psychological warfare. Yeah.
Well, it is, and that's why it's like, okay, so what do I do about that? And I don't want that to be hopeless, or and people feel like, oh, okay, well, there's nothing you can do. There is, you know what I mean. You have the power in being mindful of what you're consuming, and I understand that's not for everything, and you don't want to obsess about what am I consuming, and that's where intuition and gut. And for me, I just know, okay, I feel better when I don't watch the news. Why
Yeah,
am I
yeah,
watching the
sure.
news then? I don't need to know. I just need to know my local area.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
You know
And
what I mean?
people too, like, being around certain, they could even be a friend,
Yes.
but they may keep coming off, or a family member.
Yeah.
You keep on getting negatives every time you're around them, right? You freaking walk away from that like, oh,
Right.
and
You
your
do.
energy's down, right? And then you're going to work,
Yeah.
and you're going to a job that you're like, I don't really like my job.
Right.
So now you're pulling down even more, right? Yeah, man. It's just constantly, and when it comes to the job bit of it, I always tell them normally, I don't know about you, but normally when I get a new client, right, and they're working and shit, right, I'll get about so far through, and they'll come in and go, I don't like my job. Have you ever had that? I've had
Oh
it
yeah.
a
Most
few
people
times.
don't. Most
I,
people don't
I
like the
don't
job.
like my job, right? And I'm like, what do you want to do? Oh, well, I think I want to get it. All right, now it's a stepping stone,
Right.
because it's the message to the mind again.
Yes.
Because you call it a stepping stone, all of a sudden it's like, oh, I don't have to stay here.
Right.
The other thing I say to them is when they're like maybe going, oh, my job this and my job that, I go, leave. And they go, what?
Yeah.
I go, leave. How can I do that? I've got blah. I said, did you choose it?
Yeah.
Right? You forget the power you have. As soon as you realize that, yes, you can, if you wanted to, get up and, I mean, yeah, you're not going to, right? I mean, there's right? I mean, there's the
I don't know.
consequences.
I have. I've done that. I've jumped, and you'll be because what you're doing is releasing new chemicals in the brain and creating a new neural pathway, and you're putting out a new frequency. And the laws of the universe are very simple. Frequency begots frequency. It's that simple. There is no the universe isn't deciding, well, you were a bad person, so I'm sending you this. Or it's not that. It's if you're putting this frequency out, this other frequency has to match you.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
I've left and went, I don't know how I'm going to do this. And I'm not saying everybody should do this, but I'm just saying I did. And then all of a sudden a new opportunity came out,
Yeah,
or a new, something came that I wasn't even in the frequency to receive because I was so much loathing what I was doing that I wasn't open to anything new. And so
yeah,
it was like, okay, I got to get rid of this. I don't know how I'll figure it out. I know I'll figure it out. And then all of a sudden new things came in and I
yeah,
was able to shift. So again, it's a muscle. When you start doing that, you start trusting more and you going, okay, I don't have to stay here.
yeah, yeah.
Something will come.
Right. And push your mind into, and I always tell people, push your mind into an area, like say you want another job somewhere,
Right.
doing something, or you want to start a business, or you want whatever it is kind of growth you want. Tell yourself you already have it.
Yeah.
Because you're straight away putting, it goes above me saying, I'm going to try. A try is an out. Right. You're telling the brain, if I kind of not get there, it's okay. No, I'm going to. It sends a different message.
Well, yeah, when you say I try, you're sending the signal I don't have it. That's why I need sends I don't have it. I require, whole different thing, right? I require a certain amount of money. I require a better job. I require, and so it's, and the other thing I would say to add on to what you said is right before you go to bed, close your eyes. And if it's a new job you want, then picture yourself in that job. Yep. It's the feeling. How does it feel? What does it feel to you to get up every day and go somewhere you love? How does it feel to be doing something you love every day? How are the people around you interacting with you? It's all the feelings. Yeah. And I say before you go to bed because that's right when you wake up and right when you go to bed, you're the most impressionable.
Yep.
Right. So if you can fall asleep, you're actually programming your subconscious mind to believe that that's already true, because the mind doesn't know the difference between reality and something false.
No, exactly.
Something you create in your mind. It doesn't know.
No, it only knows from your senses and what it's telling, what it's feeding the brain.
Exactly. And what the
brain
so
makes
if you feed it and tell it it's already true, I can feel myself, and just allow yourself to marinate in those feelings and fall asleep that way, your subconscious mind believes it's true, and therefore that frequency gets sent out. That's really manifestation. I think that's one part that people don't talk about. They say just think about what you want, just think, but you have to feel it. It's the feeling that draws it.
Yeah, I did that with a guy of an interview. He was going for an interview, big interview. And he said, can you help me out? I said, I can knock you out and take you there if you want. And he's like, what? And I'm like, well, we'll meditate and I'll get you down.
Sign this release waiver first.
Here, out comes the bat.
Right.
Boom. Put him in the job. Look after him for a bit. Right. No. Oh, that image. Oh, shit. That'd have been quicker. So I bring him down. I right deep, and then I'm right, and I just took him through the whole process of him being in there, walking into the office, seeing the people, the feeling of it, the emotion of it, everything. Right, you got the job.
Yeah.
Right, because your brain thinks you've already done it, so now your nerve comes down. You don't go into that burnout.
Well, and the universe has to respond. Right, frequency begots frequency, and athletes do it. Pro athletes do it. Yeah. Right? Before they go into the Olympics or before they have a big game, they will visualize that they've already won. They're already the champion. They've already done these things, and they'll do it and do it and do it until they believe it. Yeah. Until it's innate, until it's like, oh yeah, I know I got this. I'm good.
Yeah.
Like there's no way I'm going to lose. Yeah.
It's just telling this over and over. It's like a computer, matey. If you put something in it that a computer don't like, it's going to screw up on you and let you know that it don't like it.
Right.
If you put something in here that the brain don't like, you're going to know it.
Right. Well, you'll feel it.
You'll feel it.
Right. That you'll feel it. And that's the other thing is you'll feel it. It's depression. It's anxiety. Like I was watching something the other day where they were talking about this girl found out she had all these gifts and she was depressed. And they said, you're not depressed. You're not using your gifts. That energy has to go somewhere.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's manifesting in other ways, and we could go down that rabbit hole on all disease and all types of things, but the energy has to flow somewhere. So if you're feeling it, that's a good indication something's off, right? Like I'm not lit up, I'm not enjoying this, just like us doing this. We knew it. We were both lit up.
Yeah.
You know, we're like, yeah, let's do this. Let's have
I was
fun.
more
And
than
you
lit up,
guys
Beckett.
right.
I was more than lit.
guys,
I was more than lit up. I was more than lit up, mate. That's an understatement. It was. Every time and when I'm lit up, I felt like the Olympic torch when I'm around you. It's like going to Beckett, my wife. What you got there? Going to see Beckett. Freaking energy, like it was freaking madness, boy. Shit.
It's funny because it was you, and then there was a couple other people that were on my podcast. And they were having the same thing, or one of my new clients are like, a day later, like, what is with your energy? Like, oh my god, and not bad. It's just they were lit up. They were just buzzing, and they weren't used to it. And they're like, I'm like, I am working on this. I guess I should warn you before. I don't know.
You know what? It's good though, matey, is because I act the same way. Like I say, the way I talk to you, I do with clients, right? When I'm working with them, and when it's serious, just like when we talk, right? Yeah. And when you're going to have a bit of banter and a bit of a laugh, you have a bit of a laugh, right? And I tell you what, mate, that whole energy thing that you carry, you know, and what I obviously carry with these people, it works, man.
Yeah.
Because it automatically makes someone feel, you know, somewhat comfortable, you know?
Well, it comes from the heart, to your point, right? Like everything we do, you and I, we do it, and you guys see us cracking up, but we really care.
Oh,
God.
God.
I mean, and that's it comes from our heart. The intention is there. That's why we're doing this, you know, to help people. It's like, if we can make you laugh, if we can share some insights with you guys, if we can help you have a better weekend, a better week, then this is all worth it. Even if it's just one person, you know what I mean? Like that's our intention behind this whole thing.
Right.
And that speaks because we're leading with our heart. It's not a mental thing. It's not a ego thing. It's not, you know, telling me how great I am just because I want to hear how great I am.
I'm doing it because I love you. I only come on it. Are we live? Oh, shit.
You're supposed to save that for the private.
I only come to see you. Oh, shit. I
won't even say what our text conversation is before we go live.
Yeah, I know, right? Dude, it's funny as hell. I had to look again what the subject matter was. You tell me, right? We figure it out. And I'm like,
you text me before. You're like, I don't even know what we're talking about. I was like, oh my God. Like, here we go. And to put that thing, he didn't know. So I had to put it out there. He's like, whatever, dude, we'll do whatever. So one thing I do want to remember, if you guys have questions to us, I have the chat here going on my phone. Leave them in the chat. We'll try to answer them because we want to get you guys engaged in this conversation. Yeah, and get you answering your questions and get you talking with us. This is the only second time, but if something comes up and you really want to know, obviously within certain limits, like don't be all cheeky. I just want to know how he.
What kind of treat we talking about?
You know what I'm talking about.
Oh.
I mean, for example, I asked Steve before we got on here. I was like, "So what's your?"
Are you going there, Beckett?
I said, do you know your zodiac sign? He said, yeah, I'm a Leo. And I went, okay, do you know your rising and your moon? And he's like, what? He's like, the only moon I know of is my arse when I get out of bed in the morning. He's like, I don't think that's the moon you're talking about. I was like, that's not the moon I'm talking about.
I didn't have a clue, mate. Not a clue. And then I come back with teach me because I have no clue what you're talking about. Yeah. Tell them what the full title of this was going to be.
I know.
And I'm like, what does that mean?
Yeah, I said I go weekend, and I was playing with them because I kind of knew. I was like, we could talk about ascension symptoms. Then he wrote me. He goes, I don't even know what that means. I had to look that up in the dictionary.
So it's not on the title if you see it. So this guy was questioning it.
Well, no, and I figured you would. I mean, and that is part of the ascension system symptoms. I can't even say it. I'm laughing so hard. Is the energetic vibrations. This earth, in case you guys don't know, we're in a energetic upgrade. It's happening. People are feeling it. To your point, that's why people are getting divorced. The masks that people were wearing are falling away. You can't hide behind your masks anymore. You're going to have to step up authentically. And people are getting to know themselves authentically and realizing this partner isn't right for me. This job isn't right for me. These friends aren't right for me because
Yep.
I'm learning who I really am. And all the rest of this wasn't who I am.
Mm-hmm.
So a
Mm-hmm.
lot when comes through that comes symptoms,
Yeah,
right? You're
for
going to
sure.
feel, I know people just feel like they're in this mush, like
Yeah,
we call it, from the caterpillar to the butterfly, right? They go through that cocooning phase where they
yeah,
turn into mush. You're not who you were and you're not quite who you're going to
yep,
be.
yep. Like a lost area. It's weird.
Right. I said this to a client the other day. I said, the mush doesn't sit in there and go, what the hell are we doing? Like,
Right.
what happened?
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
How long are we going to be in here? Like,
Yeah.
I got stuff to do.
Yeah. It's free, you got to take care of the mush.
Right.
You got to take care of your mush, mate. That's your face in slang. Your mush.
Yeah, and it's just allowing. And I think Matt Kahn has a great book. Have you ever read his books?
No, I don't think so. Matt Kahn? Don't ring a bell.
Yeah, it's funny because when I went to the bookstore, when I was after my brain injury and stuff, it literally fell off the shelf in front of me. Yeah, literally. Like that stuff happens
Shit.
all the time. And so I literally sat in the coffee shop at the bookstore and read the whole book. And the title of the book was Whatever Happens, Love That. Whatever Arises, Love That.
Wow.
Right.
Wow.
I've given it to a couple clients to read, and they're like, that book has changed my life in a way, is because people, they want to fight that. Well, what do you mean? I got to love it. Well, when you love it, you see it from a different perspective and you understand it's not against you. It's here to teach you.
Yeah.
And that just kind of at the time slapped me right in the face. And I was like, ooh, because, here I am dealing with a brain injury, almost lost my life, all that stuff. And it's like, I got to love this.
Yeah.
I was not in a loving spot at that time.
Right. No shit, right?
Yeah. That was not what I was feeling. But my guides in the universe were like, no, you need to look at this from a different perspective. And
Right.
it's life changing. So when you can look at things coming up and go, okay, this is a rise. How can I love this?
Mm-hmm.
It also can kind of calm your nervous system down and help a little bit of that burnout and go, what is the lesson here, or what is the goodness? Because there is goodness.
Yeah. In all carnage, there's something.
Oh,
And when I get my guys in front of me, I had one this week, freaking overwhelmed, losing it a bit, situations going on, and it's like, okay, let's take this and see what we can actually narrow it down to.
yes.
Right. And push all that shit out of the way.
Yeah, because 99% of the stuff we worry about never happens.
Right.
It's not even real. So think about that, right? We were just talking about you have a finite amount of energy and now you're wasting it. It's another energy leak on stuff of what if, shoulda, coulda, woulda. We could do that all day long, but it's never going to happen. So what can you actually affect right now?
Yep. Yeah.
Where can I actually make a change? Like if I hate my job, I might not be able to leave, but I can start looking for other jobs, or I can create a new resume.
Right.
Or I can
in the
start,
right.
I can start networking. I can start firing these new neural pathways to go, I don't like where I am. I'm not quite yet where I'm going to be, but I'm taking the steps to get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
you put this in the right direction. It doesn't stay in the norm of, oh, my life sucks in this job, right? Get up in the morning. Oh, here we get same thing. Put this somewhere else. All of a sudden you get a little bit of a spark.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're giving yourself a choice.
Yeah. And a neurosurgeon has shown that science has caught up with this stuff. So as much as it may sound far-fetched, it's not. You can look it up. Even they've proven that when you can flip that switch with MRIs and everything else, you do start releasing other chemicals.
Yeah.
Your energy.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah. So it's what if you narrow it right down. I remember seeing a picture once of it. It was literally like the insides of somebody, right, and bones and shit like that. And you look at it and you're like, shit, is that all we are? Because it said, this is you or something. Right. And it's like,
that's it. That's all.
Was the rest of it? Do I look like I'm broken if I look like that?
Yeah, but then you wait till they show you the levels of like micro bugs that are living in you. And then people really get grossed out because they're like, oh.
Yeah, I don't like that, mate. The things that are floating around in your eyelashes when you're sleeping, it's like, oh shit, that really is there. Vacuum.
Well, yeah, and in your gut, you know what I mean? Same thing. Like they call your gut your second brain, and it is.
Yeah.
You know, if your digestion, which my digestion has been off this week, I was just talking to someone about that. You know, it's been out of whack, and I'm like, I
Mhm.
gotta get it rebalanced because that affects your patience, your mood,
Oh yeah.
all those things. If your gut isn't healthy, it's affecting things in a big way. And so
Yeah.
that's another thing. What are you eating? What are you consuming? How are you feeling after you eat?
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and what was brought up to me was, how do you feel when you eat raw food versus how do you feel when you eat warm food? I never thought about that.
Right.
I don't
Yeah.
know.
I
I'm just
haven't
eating.
either. I haven't really either. I know it's funny though, because I know with drink, you say that, that's really weird. I'm going to tell you something, because
Okay.
you just made me think. So, and I'm like, oh, that actually happened to me,
Well, that doesn't happen a lot, but go ahead.
right? Beckett. Um, but I had an experience with that this week. My wife contacted me. She was out with the nippers, right?
Yeah.
Kids, sorry. She was out with. Oops. Um, I'm barely being good. You don't know how many times I've nearly come out with slang and stop my ass because I'm like, oh, they ain't gonna understand that. So my wife was out with the kids, and she's like, hey, she messaged me, would you like coffee, right?
Yeah.
And I'm
Sure.
like, yeah, all right. And she knows what I like and shit, right? And I'm like, yeah, all right, cheers, right? So she comes in, and I'm thinking hot coffee
Right.
because even though I didn't say it, I'm thinking she knows it, but she
Right.
don't know it. But in my mind, I'm going to get an hot coffee,
Right.
right? Because I'm like thinking that's what she knows, right? But she
Right.
don't. So she comes in and she hands me a cold coffee, an iced coffee, right? Now, my first thing was, how the fuck don't you know what I want, right? That was, but I did say it. I did say I'm joking, right? I'm joking. I'm joking. Right? So she gives me, and my mind, when I took a sip of it, it was weird because it was different from what I was, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
With the,
you were expecting warm. Your body was preparing.
tune into it.
Right.
It's preparing already
Yes.
of what that experience is going to be
Yes.
because of all the programming that it's had before.
Well, right, and it's you're triggering. You're telling it. That's one thing. When I lost my taste and smell, what was brought up to me by Haley, who's a good friend of mine, nutritionist, herbalist, all those things, intuitive. And
Oh,
she said, and she brought something up to me because she said, you know, you might want to look into digestive enzymes. And I said, why? And she said, because you can't smell, your nose triggers your digestive tract when food is being brought to you because it's
oh,
preparing.
wow. No
You can
shit.
smell it, right? And it's preparing, saying we're getting ready to eat. You know what I mean? You don't have that. So you're
Oh,
hitting your digestion like boom because it's not getting that initial,
got the mouth
signal.
enzymes and shit to break it down because it starts breaking down straight. No
Right.
shit.
It activates all those things going, okay, get ready. We're getting ready to eat because you don't have that. So you need the digestive enzymes to kind of work with your digestive tract because your body
Wow.
doesn't signal now anymore. And I'm like,
Wow.
oh, yeah, I didn't realize that. And that was a life changer for me. So you don't realize like the little nuances that are triggering, right? How you're
Uh,
eating, your digestion, and all that affects your brain and all your
yeah.
emotions and everything else. So I know this can seem like a lot. We've probably given you guys a lot of do this, do that,
Oh
but
shit. I know, right?
it's just little things. Even if you
Whoops.
just pick one thing. Yeah, yeah. One thing to change and work on for like I do 30 days because then your brain gets used to doing it. And I don't change more than three things. Three things or less. I try to make it one or two because also your brain won't change if you add on. That's why to-do lists are not that great.
Yeah, because it's too much.
It's too much. Your brain looks at that and goes, uh-uh. So when I'm going to make a change in my life, I pick one to two things usually. I do the same thing with my clients. Let's pick one to two things and do it at 90-day intervals, because then you're used to it. By 90 days, it's become a habit. You don't have to think about it. And that's kind of how I shift things with people.
Right.
Because if you're like, I'm going to change this, this, and this, and this, you're not going to do any of it.
Right. Right. Yeah, for sure. I mean, because it's the overwhelm bit.
Yeah.
It's like, oh my God, the brain's like, it's like driving a stick shift. You ever drive a stick shift?
Yeah, I learned on a stick shift.
Yeah, me too. Right.
Yeah.
In England. Holy shit. Different experience, matey. Completely, your wide's a really road, like wide,
Yeah.
Over there, it's a different story. You're like, can I squeeze past this car? Right. While you're learning to drive. Holy shit. And it's like driving a stick. There's so many. You've got clutch, gas at the right point, what gear you're in, right? And I know what with me when I first got in that car, I was like, holy what in the hell? I ain't gonna be able to drive, right? But repetition, all of a sudden you're driving, stick shifting, not even thinking about having a conversation.
Right. You're not thinking, push in the clutch, shift the gears, do that.
Automatic.
It's like boom, boom, boom. You're just driving.
Automatic.
I love a stick shift just because of it.
I do. More control.
Yeah, you do. You have a lot more control, and I enjoy that. But you're right. It took practice and it took time, and that's the same thing that we're saying with these things is, and give yourself grace while you're doing it, because people beat themselves up and be like, well, I tried this and I tried it for 2 weeks and nothing changed. And it's like, listen, it took you. How old are you? How many years, right?
Yeah.
Like I look at my
my first anxiety experience. Yeah, 5 years.
It took you how many years to get here? It's going to take you time to change that. So give yourself grace. Understand you're going to do good, and some days you're not, and that's okay. It's all part of the journey. It's that spiral that I talk about in healing.
Yeah,
it's a spiral. It's not linear. You're going to do this.
Oh shit, yeah. My therapist said like this. You're gonna
you're going to dip around, because some people are like, oh, I thought I already dealt with that. I go, you did on a level, and now you're ready to deal with it again on a different level, because you're not the same person.
Right.
So you didn't go back. You know what I mean? You're because you've changed. So when people can see that perspective and go, oh, okay, this is the journey of life.
Yeah. It's like I don't know about you. I tell my guys, they're like, what? Because it's the very thing they're trying to get away from. Right. And I say to them, welcome the mistakes.
Right.
What?
Right.
And I call mistakes bumps. I don't use the word mistake. I call them bumps, because you can go round them, through them, or over a bump. Right. There's nothing stopping you with a bump. Right.
No. Well, and you're learning. The only time it really is a mistake, right, is when you didn't take something from it. To your point, if you stopped in front of that bump and just stare at it,
right,
you don't do anything, knowing I can go over around it, then it's a mistake, because then you're like,
yeah.
But most people don't. You figure out a way.
It's like I tell people, there's no failing. You can't fail if you keep getting up and going for it again. How are you failing?
You're
learning.
Right.
You're taking pieces until you get there. You're not failing. But people say, I failed. You're telling your brain you're done.
Right. It's a defeat of, it's that whole, what I think it's Native American thing or tale of like white wolf, black wolf. Whatever wolf you feed. Yeah. Whatever wolf you feed is right. Meaning wherever energy you put into it. So if you think you're a failure and you're negative, you're right. That's where you're putting your energy. If you think that you're great and you did an amazing job and you tried the best you can, you're also right. Right? There is no failure. There is no in the universe. There isn't. It's wherever you're putting your energy in. Either way, you're right.
Yep. My growth came when I started saying yes.
Yeah.
I did a vlog this week on it. Say the yes and grow.
Yeah.
Right. Keep on saying no, you ain't going to grow. You ain't going anywhere. Right.
Well, it's interesting because you get to a point too where no is actually gold. Because I used to say yes to everything.
Right. No, I get you.
Yeah.
Getting back to burnout. Full circle. Right. Yeah. Knowing when to say the no.
Right.
And also knowing when to say the no when it's a boundary for you.
Exactly.
And boundary with self.
Yeah, I don't feel this. This isn't lighting me up. This isn't in alignment with where I want to go. I don't want to have this, no. And being okay with it. You don't even have to explain yourself. Just a simple no.
Yeah. Don't say don't say yes to everything. Someone's like, get in, boy.
I understand what you're saying. Like, you do have to learn the opportunities, because some people are so comfortable in no. You know what I mean? It's like, I don't want adversity. I don't want to fail. I don't want to do anything. Well, that's not going to get you anywhere.
The no gets you away from the emotions that you're trying to avoid, which is that anxiety and the fears and it gets you away from that, so it becomes a solid word. Yeah. And what you're doing by keep saying no is you're making the thing you're saying no to even more solid.
Yeah. Well, yeah, because you're focusing more on it. Yeah. That's why that could be a whole other podcast where we could do, like, there is no in the universe. And people look at me when I say stuff like this and they're like, what the hell are you talking about? And I'm like, I'll explain it to you.
Let's do it. I'll be asking you 5 minutes before we go on. What are we talking about, Beckett?
Yeah, we can do that.
Like, you've got one here, mate. You've got no idea. Hey, at least we'll sort the headphones out.
Yeah. Listen, it's fun. And hopefully, I know we're a little over an hour. and we don't want to keep you guys too
Right.
long. But we appreciate you guys for coming here and
Absolutely.
supporting us and doing this. Hopefully we're helping you. If there's topics you guys want us to talk about, drop them in the comments below, please, because we really want to get you guys involved to make this a community and entertain you as much as we can.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, yeah. I don't think there's much problem there, Beckett, really. Right. I think we got that covered.
Yeah, I hope so. We'll see.
Listen, when you said this morning, when I said, "Hey, what's going on? Are you doing good?" and you were like, "I didn't sleep last night. My energy's like really out of it." And I said, "Well, neither did I really." And what did you say? "Oh, it'll make for a better. What was it?
Better.
What could go wrong?"
Is it good? We'll be good and loopy and goofy. It'll be
The first
great.
thing we got the time wrong.
Right. And thank God you hit me up, and I even got the time wrong. So the point is, if you guys learn anything about us, we're real. Like, that's why he's like, we could cancel this. I said, no, I want them to know, like, this is life. I'm tired. I didn't sleep. This is how I am, but I wasn't going to.
What it's all about. So well done, dude. Well done.
Thank you. Thank
Well
you for
done,
telling
my
me we need to go live in 5 minutes.
I shit myself thinking I was in the wrong. I thought I had it wrong. You're saying you got it wrong. I'm like, when did we do? What time did we start last week, Beckett? I don't know. Oh, that's the answer I need from the guy that's got the channel. Okay.
Dude, my brain has been so fried. I had things pop up this week that I didn't even know. I didn't even have in my calendar. I even said that. I'm like, I don't know what is wrong. My brain is just out of whack. And it happened. It happens to all of us. So please don't beat your guys self up for it, because it's happened to me. So anyway,
I don't know what time it's going to be.
It will be noon. I'm going to write it down after this. Noon on Fridays.
Right.
So you guys can keep us all in check. You heard me say it here. Noon on Fridays. We will be live covering the topics you guys want to talk about, and hopefully starting you off to a good weekend. So thank you guys for being here. We appreciate you. We love you so much.
Thank you. Appreciate
you guys
brother.
next Friday.
Absolutely. Love you.
Bye, guys.